In the dry deserts and rugged cliffs of Mali, West Africa, there exists a little-known tribe that holds within its culture a body of ancient knowledge so profound that it has left modern scientists puzzled. They are the Dogon people, a group who live in small, isolated villages built into the towering sandstone escarpments of the Bandiagara region. They have no telescopes, no universities, and no access to modern scientific tools. Yet, hundreds of years ago, the Dogon spoke of a strange star, tiny, extremely dense, and orbiting another brighter star in a precise elliptical path. That star, known today as Sirius B, is a white dwarf that cannot be seen with the naked eye, and was only officially confirmed through telescopic observation in the 19th century. But the Dogon had already known of its existence. They not only identified Sirius B, but described it as orbiting Sirius A, the brightest star in our night sky, with an orbital period of approximately 50 years. They also claimed that it was incredibly heavy and extraordinarily small, likening it to the seed of the world, the starting point of all existence. Astonishingly, this description aligns almost perfectly with the modern scientific definition of a white dwarf, a stellar remnant with a mass comparable to that of the Sun, but packed into a volume roughly the size of Earth, making it incredibly dense. All of this knowledge was passed down through generations, not through written records or textbooks, but through sacred rituals, songs, and oral traditions. The Dogon did not record their knowledge in books. Instead, they encoded it into their cosmology, their myths, and their spiritual ceremonies. When French anthropologists Marcel Griol and Germaine Dieterlen studied the Dogon in the 1930s, they were captivated by the complexity and depth of this cosmic wisdom. Over more than 2 decades of research and close cultural immersion, they were told by Dogon elders about a universe that was dynamic, expansive, and deeply interconnected. The Dogon spoke of the Earth orbiting the Sun, of other planets, of rings around Saturn and moons around Jupiter, and of Sirius, not as a single star, but a system of stars. Even more remarkable was their claim about a third star, one they called Emi-Ya, which they described as larger and lighter than Sirius B, also orbiting Sirius A. This aligns intriguingly with modern astronomical theories proposing the possible existence of a third star in the Sirius system, although it has not yet been confirmed. But the Dogon worldview is not merely about astronomy. To them, the universe is not a collection of lifeless rocks floating in space, but a living organism animated by spiritual forces. Every star, every orbit, every celestial body plays a role in the grand choreography of existence. The Dogon believe that humans must live in harmony with this rhythm, aligning their lives with cosmic cycles, maintaining balance between seen and unseen forces. Central to their creation mythology is a being, or perhaps a species, called the Nommo. According to Dogon legend, the Nommo were amphibious, fish-like beings who descended from the stars in a vessel that spun and emitted great noise and light. They were described not as gods, but as ancestors, carriers of wisdom who brought language, science, and order to Earth. The Nommo, in Dogon cosmology, symbolize water, regeneration, and cosmic balance. This myth has captured the imagination of many outside observers. Proponents of the ancient astronaut theory point to the Dogon as key evidence in the idea that Earth may have been visited by extraterrestrial intelligences in the distant past. They argue that the accuracy of Dogon astronomy cannot be explained without the intervention of beings possessing advanced knowledge of the stars. However, not everyone agrees. Some scholars believe that Griol and Dieterlen may have unintentionally influenced the responses they received from the Dogon, perhaps embedding modern astronomical ideas into the interpretation of traditional beliefs. Others argue that the Dogon's knowledge could be the result of cultural diffusion or simple coincidence. And yet, the precision remains difficult to dismiss. The 50-year orbital cycle, the density of Sirius B, the idea of multiple stars in the Sirius system, all of these details were described long before they were confirmed by Western science. What we can say with certainty is this: the Dogon preserve a worldview that sees the universe as sacred, interconnected, and alive. They measure time not in minutes and seconds, but in the cycles of stars and the movement of the heavens. They plant their crops and hold their ceremonies based on celestial signs. They do not separate the spiritual from the scientific. The sky is not above them, but within them. In an age where humanity sends probes to the edges of the solar system and peers into galaxies billions of light years away, the story of the Dogon challenges our assumptions. It reminds us that knowledge is not the sole domain of technology. It can emerge from silence, from observation, from ritual, and from an intuitive understanding of the cosmos. Perhaps the Dogon did not need telescopes because they never lost their connection to the sky. Perhaps, in the stillness of the desert night, under the tapestry of stars, they heard something that we, with all our machines, have forgotten how to listen for. And perhaps, just perhaps, the universe is still whispering, waiting for us to remember.